How easy or difficult is it to sell your property if you're in financial distress? If you urgently need money, basically.
Depending again where you are. If you're in Cape Town, it's fairly easy. I mean, especially now we are. I think we're living in a bit of a bubble here in Cape Town. We're living in our own country in Cape Town.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, I mean, if the property is priced right, it will sell.
Because why I'm asking that.
I demand.
Because why I'm asking
Anywhere in Cape Town.
Yeah.
Okay. Good or bad area, doesn't matter.
Makes sense. But why I'm asking that question is because if you have to put the property to market, it still takes time. It's not you're going to put it down the market tomorrow. It's going to be sold. In some cases,
you can sell it, but the registration is
place. Then remember, there's occupational rent, all of that stuff. Maybe we can elaborate on that as well because that's also something common that people don't realize is that there's occupational rent to be paid. Most people are like, what is occupational rent? So we'll discuss that as well. But looking at again from selling it or from putting the property on the market, and actually selling the property and moving out and the registration and transfer, all of that stuff takes time. So that's why I say if you're in financial distress, it becomes a problem at the end of the day.
Look, there's many ways and means, but the long and the short is, I think, to answer your question, start maybe there's a cut in salary or whatever the case may be, or maybe it's a husband and wife, maybe one passed away or divorce or whatever the case might be. So now all of a sudden they can't pay their bond, their commitments. People wait too long. I see this so much in the industry. People wait too long because that's the last thing that they want to sell is their house.
Your house that you stay in, or your primary residence, and your pension at work. In those cases, for those that go, that's probably the two main assets that you've got. And a lot of the time, people say that your primary residence is not an asset. I tend to agree and disagree with that. But at the end of the day, that's the two big things that you've got.
Yeah, so look, I think personally, if you own your property long enough to have capital appreciation, then it becomes an asset. But in the short term, it's not an asset because that's a big expense, especially in the beginning, because that's literally, I want to stay here and I can afford this, and now I'm paying.
And also just something completely different.
Of my salary to this.
Correct, and something completely different now. If I look at it through a different lens, so to say, then if you, for instance, buy a property at a very young age, you are restricted in a sense to that property if it's for physical residence, and that's a big, I think. It's not really an opportunity cost, and maybe one can see it as such that you forgo by exploring and going into other sectors or other areas and moving around, etc. So that's also something, it ties you down quite a bit when you buy property at a very young age to stay in, and that's what probably most people prefer to rent first, see how the area is, check it out, is this where they want to stay, etc. So they maybe rent for 1 year or 2 years and then they make a decision.